But man, speaking of possibilities, there has been reports from PWN that there is a strong possibility of a Worlds Collide event featuring NXT and TNA wrestling. Now, obviously, we've seen a bunch of cross branding between TNA and NXT. We've seen the Rascals on NXT. We've seen Jordan Grace on NXT. We've also seen Charlie Dempsey and his faction on TNA, as well as a couple of other women superstars from NXT on TNA. But this Worlds Collide event, I think it kind of sends the collaboration over the top. But I want to know your thoughts. How do you feel about this event potentially happening?
Like you just said, they basically seamlessly already doing it.
Yeah.
It just, it's getting closer to that buy time. I really feel
Mm-hmm.
like the writing is on the wall for WWE to buy TNA simply just based on this interaction they've had all year. And with TNA, as TNA Mark that I am, it's probably my second first favorite promotion ever. They've always had backers since, when they went global force wrestling, I believe, when it was with they went off that when Jeff Jarrett tried to get away from Dixie Carter. And then essentially they went back, or essentially they went from that to Impact Wrestling and then back to TNA Wrestling. So with them, they're always like rebranded because they haven't had so many people that just like, either bought some stake into the company or bought the company. With them now, it's getting to a point where it's just like, do they still have any backers? They got a TV deal, yes, but it seems like it's a play more so to buy them. Like when AEW was doing business with them in 2021, that was just, fan fiction, just coming to reality and, having nostalgia with Christian Cage winning a world title again. That's all it really was. But I think more so now the play is for them to be bought. Uh I love TNA again, but are they worth a lot? Probably not. They don't have a lot of talent on there as well. Uh, when you watch the show, it's kind of like the same people over and over, and it's been like that for the past couple of years. So, if they get bought, I think it's mainly just for the catalog, just because that catalog is just major with the best of matches, and then getting their YouTube channel as well. But as far as the question goes, I think it'd be great, but we kind of already seeing that anyway to begin with. I think you on mute, brother.
My bad.
Yeah.
I do want to say that I think that the NXT and TNA Worlds Collide event would be amazing. I think it would be special, especially with these signings that WWE has had with Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I feel like the sky is the limit. I feel like WWE was able to successfully court TNA um, in a way that AEW wasn't. And I think that part of it was just due to the pandemic, obviously, with things not being able to be open the way that they used to be. Um, but I believe that they were able to court them in a way that shows that they can be a good business partner. But like you said, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Endeavor is looking to buy TNA. I don't think that WWE has the power to buy TNA, considering that it's a company under a company. But I don't know much. But I wouldn't be surprised if Endeavor bought TNA Wrestling and put it under the TKO umbrella. We saw how they kind of removed, unfortunately, Scott D'Amore from TNA Wrestling, and he was very, very passionate about that brand and about that product. And I can tell you for a fact that I feel like he would want it to be an independent product. He would want to do business relationships with with a AEW or with a WWE, but he wouldn't want that to be sold. There's a possibility that they removed him so that there wouldn't be any internal friction when it comes to potentially selling the company. And that may be a reason why. I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion. But I feel like it's inevitable, like you said, that the TNA WWE relationship is going to blossom into a time in which the two can become one, or one would be under the other. And I think we know what the pecking order of that would be. But as for the event, man, TNA and NXT have such deep talent rosters that they can pull off a lot. Jordan Grace and Roxanne and Steph and Julia, and then you have Moose and the System on one side, and then on the other side you have Trick Williams and Javon Evans and Ethan Page. Like Josh Alexander is still in TNA. We can get a North reunion, a We the North reunion with Josh Alexander and Ethan Page, and considering that they're both heels now, and then obviously we know Joe Hendry, and we know how much of a superstar that he is and how much he's kind of popped off in the past really 2 months, as far as his surging popularity amongst the NXT crowd and amongst pro wrestling in general. But I think that it can happen and it could be something special. But we want to know how y'all feel about this potential WWE TNA crossover worlds collide event. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching the Culture 316 podcast. If you liked what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you guys can stay up to date with all upcoming videos and events pertaining to Culture 316.